Hello, my dear friends. So, today I'm going to discuss a problem, and in this problem, the title of the problem is Cylinder System with a Conductive Piston. This problem was shared to me by my very good friend Aditya, and a bit of solution. He also shared the solution with me, and today I'm going to present the question with uh, my way. So, let us see what the question says. We can relate this question with a double with a decay radioactive decay and that sort of problem we got here. So let us read the problem here. It says an easily moving piston initially divides a thermally insulated horizontal axis cylinder into two equal parts of volume V naught in both parts. Okay, so V naught two volumes, two parts. We divide the cylinder into two equal parts, and here we say that in both parts of cylinder there exists an ideal pressure P naught. The cylinder's initial temperature is 2 T naught in the left hand section and T naught in the right hand section, you can say. Okay, then we can say that the piston is moderately conductive and its heat parameter is characterized by alpha. That is the case of temperature difference delta T. In the case of temperature difference delta T, we got a heat flux or a conductive heat flux. You can say that alpha delta T is flowing through the cylinder per unit time, or the piston, you can actually say. So, what is in the question? We have already solved this type of question in our regular JEE syllabus, but it's a bit typical because we have been given the conductivity parameter of the piston. So, what we have to find here, we have to find two questions, two things. That is, first, what will be the volume, temperature, pressure in each section after a long time, and then we have to find the function V1T and V2T, that is the volume in the first section and the volume in the second section as a function of time. So here it has been given that the gas is monoatomic, that is its degree of freedom F is 3. And we can similarly find the value of gamma if something else was asked or some source of heat was there. We can make the question more typical actually. So here let us see the diagram how it looks like. So here it is a cylinder. It is a horizontal axis cylinder. Here is V naught, P naught, and 2 T naught. Here V naught, P naught, and T naught. Okay. So we know that the temperature or the heat will flow from left hand section to the right hand section due to the temperature gradient actually. Okay, so let us solve the first part. In the first part we will say that a p naught v naught is n1 into 2 t naught r, that is we are just finding the number of mole of gases in both the parts of the cylinder, that is in this part and in this part and this part actually. Okay, so now we can say that heat transfer will occur from the left part of the cylinder to the right part of the cylinder. So because in left part the temperature is high and in the right part the temperature is low, the heat will flow from the higher portion to the lower portion, that this portion cools down and this portion heats up, and then they finally reach a thermal equilibrium. Now this is a very important fact which will help us in finding the final temperature, and we know that the final temperature will be equal in both the parts. Okay, so we will say that the piston will move towards the left due to heat transfer, and due to slowness of the process, pressure is almost constant. So this is also important. So we can say that the final pressure is equal and the final temperature is equal. The volume will be different actually because the moles of gas are different. Now we will just use the conservation of energy, that is conservation of internal energy, and here we just do n1 nfrt by 2, that is the internal energy. We just find the sum of internal energy initial and sum of internal energy final, and then we just equate them to get the uh, value of the you can say the final temperature. So the final temperature can come as 4 by 3 T naught, and using Charles law, actually I have written Gay-Lussac's law earlier, that's why I've got it. So by using Charles law we can say that V1 by T1 initial is equal to V1 by T1 final, and similarly for V2, so we get V1 final as equal to 2 V naught by 3 and 4 V naught by 3. So we already got the temperature, pressure and volume in both the sections. Now second, if we want to find the function of time actually, so we will again use the energy equations and the heat flux equations. So here we can say that since in the left part cools down and the right part heat up, we will say that delta T1 is less than 0 since it is cooling, and delta T2 is greater than 0 since it is heating. So earlier it was 2 T naught actually, it was 2 T naught and then it changed into 4 by 3 T naught. It was T naught and changed into 4 by 3 T naught. So for one it will increase, the temperature will increase, and for the other the temperature will decrease. So if we see the left hand side of piston, we will just equate the energy and per unit time. We just do that and find a differential equation in both the section. Here you can notice that here it is T2 minus T1 and here it is T1 minus T2. According to the positive change, we will just put the values either T2 minus T1 or T1 minus T2. Now setting delta T is equal to T1 minus T2, we will just set delta T is equal to T1 minus T2, and then we will just form a differential equation by this method. We will just multiply the upper equation by 2 and then we will just do the things, that is the addition, subtraction. So here we'll get the subtraction as d delta t by dt is equal to minus 3 alpha delta t, and when we just solve this we get this equation, and this is our differential equation. So this is like the radioactive decay equation. This is like the radioactive decay equation. So if we just see the radioactive decay equation, with respect to that, the solution must be of this form, that is t to the power minus e lambda. Now this lambda is 3 alpha by f plus 2 n1 r. Now here n1 can be written as the value of this is plus 6 alpha t naught by 5 p naught v naught, and then we can say that from initial conditions and final conditions, when you will just solve the equation, you will get the temperature functions here. And when we solve the temperature functions, we get the again from using Charles law, we can find the volume as a function of time. And here v1 at t and t1 at t, v1 initial and t1 initial, we'll just do that, and we'll get the final equations for the volume as a function of time and v2 as a function of time. I hope you like the solution. Thanks.